I'm Bill.
And I'm Candace. And we're the Disruptors. Hey, welcome to the show, Bill.
It's nice
I'm so glad that you could make it. Haha.
Well, it's nice you could take time to come in here and sit down and chat with us.
Well, you know, some of us
you're
are
so
really
busy. Oh, I know you're so
I am busy.
You're terribly busy.
We're shifting
all the time.
the universe all the time.
Roger, by the way, mentioned that your desk is going to be moved out into the further lobby.
That's just because I need to expand.
Out. You need to expand. Okay.
I do. A bigger, brighter desk.
Bigger, brighter desk. Sure, expand. Great.
Bill, are you going to introduce our guest?
I have a broken chair, and you get to expand. Hey, we got a great show. We're going to be talking to Cameron Birk here and about
Absolute Ministries.
And Absolute Ministry.
Right? Is that
okay?
Yes,
so
sir.
Glad to have
hey,
you.
Guys. Excited to be here.
This is really fun. So, give us a little bit of background of how you got started into this program.
Sure. Well, that's a little bit of a story, but it started out of my own life. In 2003, I went into a drug and alcohol inpatient program for cocaine and alcohol. Life had become a mess, and I was well aware. Upon completing that program, I stayed on and worked for them for a number of years and just began to see a trend, and that is that individuals going into rehab, they need massive life change, and then they get out of that highly structured environment and really struggle. Really struggle going from a highly structured environment to no structure. And so that's where Absolute got birthed, was creating some limited structure out after inpatient.
Oh, that's empowering.
That is empowering, and it's such a needed thing. Now, when we say your particular program is, kind of give us an order, a structure of how your program works with the overall picture of bringing these people back into society.
Yeah, awesome. So we've got a couple different arms to the organization. So we've got a ministry called Mail in Jail, and that is that individuals, so let's say they get picked up for a substance charge, and they're sitting in the Gray Bar Hotel, and they want life change, right? But they have no way to achieve that. And so what we do is we send correspondents into the local jails and asking inmates if they would like to learn to do life in a new way. And they can respond with a postage-paid prepaid envelope and send that back, and then we will hook them up with local programs that are faith-based that fit their needs.
That's really cool. And that's called what again?
Mailinjail.org.
Mail in Jail. Oh, mailinjail.org.
Yeah.
How can anyone help to volunteer for that? Is that just something that's put on by the ministry?
They put you in jail. You don't have to volunteer.
No, but
they
you've got letters.
You've
got letters.
Oh, it's really too bad that they didn't have this around when you were in.
Yeah, Bill, you could have made a difference.
Yeah, no.
In the gray, what did you call
the
that?
Gray Bar Hotel.
The Gray Bar Hotel.
Oh, yeah, very
good.
That
was awesome. So, is there volunteering? Do you have any that needs to licks? I don't know.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay.
And we're just getting it off the ground. So it's a huge need. Obviously, our jails and prisons are
stuffed
full, and we're trying to figure out how to keep people from going back.
Absolutely.
And so, yep.
Does jail actually deter these people? Do you feel that they actually get a deterrent? They want to straighten themselves out, or do you think it's just a situation where, oh, I'm stuck, I'm caught, but really I'm fine, and this is not right, I shouldn't be here?
Yeah, I think it's mostly an inconvenience. Until somebody really becomes awakened to their condition, there's not a whole lot of hope. I think, though, that God does use, coming from a Christian perspective, God does use jail to save a whole lot of people. Mm-hmm. A lot of people refer to jail as the belly of the whale.
The belly of the whale.
And God will arrest you and save your life by locking you up.
Time.
Yep.
Amazing.
100%. Another thing we're doing is a group called Absolute Support for Parents of Addicts, and that is a place that parents who have addicted children can come and learn about how to quit enabling their kids, how to set up a success plan for their children, and receive support, guidance, prayer, and that's every Wednesday, and that information can be found on our website at absoluteministries.org/parents.
And that's a parent situation which is really at the beginning of this problem that kids have now.
Absolutely. And by kids,
well,
we
kids are,
18 to 55.
18 to 55. Thank you so much. He cut me right out of that program, Candace. Did you notice that? I appreciate that.
I'm still in.
That's fine. Do you find
Cameron's coming back?
Good. So give us some more information about what you do on your end. I noticed I read some information on your cards that you give out.
Yep.
First of all, how are you funded?
So half our budget is raised by individuals in the community, by local businesses, churches, partners, etc. The other half of our budget is raised by individuals in the program, which is a huge, it's not normal in the addiction sphere for individuals who are receiving the services to have skin in the game and to be paying for it out of their own pocket.
Yeah, well, they own it.
Exactly.
If they're out, pushing it forward, then they're owning the process, owning the program, and obviously excited about the changes that they're getting.
They want it.
That
And
is
it's
really,
proven
really neat.
because their money's on the table.
You bet.
Yeah.
So they're owning their recovery.
Yep. And that's why our donors feel excited to partner with us, because they're not just giving handout after handout after handout.
Sure.
And there's so many programs that do that. And that's just somebody else's calling. But
You bet.
we want to help people that want to be helped.
So you're giving them a hand up instead of a hand out.
Yep. We're teaching them, and they want to learn.
And you want to work. Where are you? Are you in Auburn or in your Pierce County or whereabouts?
We're in unincorporated Pierce County up by Lake Taps.
Up by Lake Taps, in a good area indeed.
Yep.
And how many are you taking care of at this moment?
So we have capacity for 18, well, actually, no, we just grew, 18 men, and then we've got a leadership house that has a capacity of 3 also. So for individuals that have completed the program but are sticking around to give back.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Are those full?
What?
Are both of those homes full? Or?
No, we don't operate at full capacity typically. There's always ebb and flow. So 75% capacity is pretty normal. Yeah.
Now I noticed on the back of the card, this program actually covers, they're paying in for so many great features, which I couldn't believe when I read the back of it. From transportation to food to lodging, cable, you're really structuring them in a opportunity to be able to grow into this and understand budgeting and what's going on while they put their little bit of skin in the game.
Yes.
What kind of effect do you find with them after a while, after they kind of get into the groove and absorb this? Do they take it as a granted situation, or do they feel like they're actually growing in the sense that God wants them to grow in?
Yeah, you get both. I think it's natural. You get both. But individuals that really get it, they really blossom. And the people that come in, so we teach, for example, how to manage your finances. Well, if you're like most people that struggle with substances, managing your finances means taking your paycheck to the bartender, right?
Right.
Just handing it straight over.
Straight over. Here you go, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we help individuals. We've got a structured program that gives them some different phases of growth. So in phase 1, for example, they're allowed to have, or inside their first 30 days rather, they're allowed to have only $20 on their person. They're not used to having any money on their person.
Uh-huh.
First 30 days, $20. After they get out of that probationary period, that goes up to $200. And we have what we call absolute accounts, where it's still their money, but it's not in their immediate possession. Mm-hmm. And that grows. So once they get into phase 3 and they've been learning the financial management process, then they can take back over their finances completely, and they've been proving their ability throughout the phases of the program. So we have 4 phases, like I mentioned, and there's about 12 benchmarks in each phase that build on the last. So in phase 1, when somebody first comes in, they have to find a job.
Okay.
And we help with that. We also provide transportation. We have about 9 vehicles that we own that we cover the gas maintenance.
Isn't that phenomenal?
Yeah.
Is it hard
Insurance.
to find jobs for individuals with criminal records?
Not when you have a faith-based community that believes in the value of people. And
wow, that's a great outlook.
that's what we have. We have business owners that are excited, and they give jobs, but they also give back to the organization as well.
Sure.
Because they are seeing people's kids or people's parents transformed and given a new lease on life.
I just recently, we attended a meeting and I was there, and one of your staff members came down to chat with us, and I was so terribly absolutely admired the guy because he got up. He admitted, I've had problems. Here's where I'm at. Here's where I'm going and how I'm going to achieve this and how I want others to achieve this. Mm-hmm. And it's such a wonderful message to see somebody stand up and strip all the terrible stuff away from them and say, hey, God brought me here. I want to talk to people. I want to get the opportunity to let them know that there is help. There is somebody that cares. Yep. And it was just very impressive. I hope he comes back again because it was really exciting to have him there. And I know a lot of people, we had 30 people there, or 28, and was really interested in seeing him to come back and be a part of our group.
Yep. Just people telling the raw truth, right?
Just right, yes.
Drop the facade and let's talk about real life. And that's Joey you're referencing, and he has an incredible story of Jesus' transformation in his life. So
it's wonderful. Yeah. How many paid employees do you have, or how do you make these benchmarks work, and how do you oversee all this? Because I imagine it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, growth has actually been difficult. We started this in 2009 just with a heart for these individuals, and meeting the need in the community has meant growing pains and trying to figure out how do we do this in the best way possible, being the best stewards that we can be. And so we developed the discipleship track, right? The different phases we've been talking about. We've developed different partnerships in the community, job acquisition for these individuals, partnerships with churches. There's so much that goes into it. And then these new ministries that are falling under the umbrella of Absolute Ministries with the jail outreach and the parents of addicts. We're very excited about the future.
It looks really great, doesn't it? And the structure looks so solid. I think that the biggest thing I'll kind of go back a little bit. Just recently, one of my clients who has really turned her life around, I had an opportunity to sit down and talk with her. And she says, I'm over 40 years old. I messed up most of my life. I lost my kids. I was in cocaine. I was doing meth. I was doing anything that I get my hands on. And she says, the most horrifying thing is one morning I woke up and discovered that I had no life, that I was just there, and that everything that I loved and cared for had been taken away. I had, exchanged it for dope, drugs, or whatever. And it was interesting to me to watch her transition. She said, one of the hardest things I had was to find somebody that would listen to me, to find somebody who would extend out a hand and say, hey, you are a God's gift to everybody, and you can be back into society if you get that, I guess the term is monkey off your back. And it was terribly impressive because now she's gone through these years, okay? She's remarried, she has 2 wonderful children, but the way God brought back her original 2 that she had not seen in over 15 years through Facebook, and how they were so excited to have their mother back and to see how she's a business owner in Puyallup. She's doing a wonderful job, and she puts her hand out to those that need help and require it.
I love that. That's what a success story.
It is.
Know. So we don't try and put an agenda on any individual in our program. We know very well God's agenda is the best agenda, and He puts a seed and a purpose in every single person as an individual, right? Your gifts are different than mine. Your gifts are different than mine. So what we do is we don't try and determine what somebody's life is going to look like. We just try and foster an environment where whatever it is that's inside of them can really blossom and grow. And so we consider ourselves kind of like a greenhouse where, hey, we're just cultivating seeds, right? And God's put them in people, and we're watching them blossom and become amazing and beautiful.
Well, I think everyone can think of, or every family. I mean, I know in our family, we've had members of our family, our immediate family, struggle with addictions. Bill, I know you've had some people in your family, and so I think that it's more common, and so the whole entire shame and guilt thing that can be entered into that space really shouldn't even be there. Our road is the journey, whatever that is. So are you noticing an influx with all of the legalized marijuana shops? I mean,